So we're talking about direct care workers, and we need a lot more. We need to double the number, but we also here at GANA are really passionate about gerontological nursing and pathways from support workers, personal care workers, through working, keep staying in the aged care arena is something I think is really important. So we've got our next speaker is Kira Kim, who I had the pleasure of working with here in Brisbane with the radar unit during COVID, and that's where I met her. And she's going to tell us about her pathway from a support worker through to a nurse practitioner in aged care. So a little bit about her. She's a nurse practitioner specialising in chronic disease, palliative care, delirium care, dementia care, and she's currently working both in the aged care sector in residential and also the acute care sector. She works at one of the hospitals, Prince Charles Hospital, close by. She has extensive experience as a registered nurse for 18 years in medical surgical nursing, intensive care, aged care, dementia care in Australia, the USA and the Philippines, and 6 years so far as a nurse practitioner in Australia. She's had various experiences in roles in geriatric care, starting as a personal care and residential aged care facility, and currently as a dementia and delirium nurse practitioner at the Prince Charles Hospital, as well as a nurse practitioner for Southern Cross Care, Queensland. She completed studies in chronic disease and palliative care and nurse practitioner studies at the University of Queensland. She's a founding member of the Gerontological Alliance of Nurses Australia and the Queensland Nurse and Midwife Union and statewide Dementia Clinical Network and Older Persons Health Clinical Network. Kira, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us.
Thank you very much, Lynn. That was a big introduction. Thank you, everyone. I'm speaking from the land, the country of Myanjin. Thank you for having me today and allowing me to share my story. So I'll just share my my screen. Just let me know if you're not able to see it. So again, thank you, Victoria, Kasha, and Lynn for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to share my journey. Again, I'm Kira. I'm a nurse practitioner that specialized in the care of the older person and those persons living with dementia. So as I share my journey as an aged care worker, I will share some information I came across that helped me understand the challenges that I will be facing in progressing my career as part of the aged care workforce. The common career options in this industry, common challenges that we face as a workforce in terms of career advancement, and the opportunities that are available for us to support us around career progression in the aged care setting. So just a brief sort of information. It's have been discussed previously, but according to the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare, this is from 2016. About 28% of direct care workers are actually in the aged care sector are actually aged 55 years and older. And historically, the aged care workforce in Australia has been predominantly female, and 87% of direct care workers are women. We are a culturally diverse workforce, and a substantial portion of aged care workers are employed casually. And I was happy to hear that now we're starting to change that we're starting to see the value of actually having permanent staff working to support our clients. And 39% of direct care workers are engaged, as I've said, engaged in the casual employment. 37%, this is as of 2016, have held a certificate 3 or level 4 qualification. Although the career pathway in aged care is not as streamlined as other industries, different career options are available, and understanding the career options helped me in my career journey, since mapping this helped me shift my focus and make informed decisions in choosing which area to seek further training and education. So some of the key, here are some of our industry's key workforce and healthcare team members. So this will help you map out as well which sort of area of specialty you wanna um, go and progress in your career. So I probably won't write it down. I'm happy to share the presentation for the participants. So, despite different career options in aged care, there are several challenges and barriers to progressing in the career ladder, which is worth knowing and considering ahead of time so that it enables us to plan ahead on how to navigate around these challenges. Some of the barriers and challenges are sometimes subtle and often we underestimate them. However, when all these sort of factors come in, unfortunately, they become significant, and it does affect our ability to progress. So I think my slide, there's something wrong with my slide, but there were areas like the gaps in the training, the demographics, the age bias, and some lack in limited support in progression of career progression. I think that is a big challenge for us, as well as that limited remuneration and recognition of our area of our specialty as a workforce. So, on the brighter side, there are several opportunities and support that can help establish a career in aged care and help you climb up the career ladder. And this has been, in my journey, has been very helpful and instrumental to help me reach where I am at in my career at this stage. So some of the opportunities available when I did my mapping, this was something that I've discovered. Um, the areas that can help me further my career, the further education and training, some professional development program. Sometimes these are offered within your organization, some work-based training and mentoring, age care scholarship and grants, some leadership development programs and professional association. And on the right hand of this slide, these are some of the known organizations or colleges that actually provide this opportunity. So based on my experience, I actually was very lucky to get scholarship grant from Australian College of Nursing, both for my master's in chronic disease and palliative care, as well as my master's in nurse practitioner studies. And they did prioritize me because I was in the aged care sector, and they did see that that's a big area of need in our sector. So just I know I'm limited with time, so I'll just share my lived experience, and this probably would help everyone understand how that career journey will flow, starting as an entry care worker in the aged care setting, and then going up to become a nurse practitioner in aged care. Just flexing all my photos there and my colleagues from aged care. Um, so I started my career in the aged care industry as a community support worker, and then I've moved to become a personal carer in the residential aged care in a residential aged care facility. Originally, I'm not from Australia. I've came from Philippines, but I've worked in Saipan, which is one of the U.S. territories, as a intensive care unit nurse, registered nurse. But due to um, wanting to explore other avenues and a growing family as well. So we decided to move to Australia. So I have to leave my position as an intensive care nurse and venture into a new area of specialty, which is geriatrics. So I have to relearn the skills of pure bedside care when I first come in. Um, in Australia. So I have to relearning the skills of pure bedside care was a humbling yet rewarding experience for me. I was allowed not only to know the residents that I care for as a person, and not just an after breakfast or before breakfast resident for shower or another feed. I also learned the intricacies and challenges of providing holistic care to my residents, and got to know my colleagues' stories and what motivates them. My experience as a personal care helped me a lot when I finally got my endorsement as a registered nurse in Australia, and more when I was blessed to get a role as a clinical nurse. And on short occasions, I did some filling in for our facility manager when she was away. However, I was quite blessed to be offered a role that helped me mold my career in my current area of specialty in dementia care. So when I was working in one of the age care organization, I was allowed to lead a dementia framework of care project. And shortly, I came across one good or great opportunity in aged care to further develop my career. That's through the aged care scholarship offered by Australian College of Nursing. And through the college, I was able to complete my Masters of Chronic Disease and Palliative Care, and my Masters of Nurse Practitioner Studies. So they have been very generous. That's why I can't leave aged care, because I want to pay it forward. Um, After completing my course, I was again lucky to be offered as an aged care nurse practitioner by the university that I was studying in as well, which is it was a tear jerking moment for me, because I had to go through like 10 um, almost 15 interviews, and I just got rejected because probably they didn't really value my rich experience as an aged care nurse. But obviously your moment will come when that someone will value that specialty. And then like us working in aged care, it is an area of specialty that's unfortunately under recognized. So my journey, however, was a complex walk in the park. It wasn't an easy transition. So the transition from an acute care to an aged care setting or health industry was quite a journey. So I have to get familiarized and adjust from the American healthcare system with all the different metrics and the terminologies to an Australian healthcare system, which was sort of another a hurdle for me. I also needed to adjust and learn new skills quickly, as because I think my transition was quite a bit faster than the usual. Um, and the changes in my life circumstance didn't help as well. So I think on my first term, get in my Masters of Chronic Disease and Palliative Care, and I was still working as an aged care um, clinical nurse as well. I got a child. I fell pregnant and I had my son. So there was that dilemma of whether do I sort of just quit and just just focus on the family. But I did tell myself like opportunity knocks only once, so I just like had to like wing it. And no regrets. I'm very happy that I just went on and continued with my studies. um, and on top of all this drama, obviously there's that drama of the day-to-day challenges of an aged care worker, like your long hours, especially when you are in that clinical role. You spend a lot of long hours at work. They're not paid, obviously, and sometimes almost we run on compassion meal or fueled with compassion, because want we want the best for our clients, our consumers. And we if if not all of the aged care workers I know, we can't really let go without closing the loop. And we know that it's not just the resident that we're looking after, but we look after even their family. So you probably understand that one simple sort of discussion always leads to 10 other problems when you're dealing and when you're sorting out some issues with a patient or an older person in the aged care setting. So, however, the best decision I made from a career perspective was really taking the leap of faith, and taking the opportunities that were offered and that I came across. Long hours at work. In aged care, you don't really, especially in the nursing home, you don't really finish on time. I think there's always expected. It's always expected that you stay a bit 1 hour more. And as Vicky said, unfortunately, if that sort of it adds up, and it does cause that eventually burnt out. And on top of that, I was studying as well, so that's but I think I just had to just keep on going, looking at the sort of the light at the end of the tunnel. So at this stage, I'm actually currently working as an aged care nurse practitioner. So from um, working as a community carer, then moving on as a personal care in an aged care setting, and then becoming a registered nurse, then becoming a nurse practitioner. My journey brought me now as a nurse practitioner for an aged care organization, as well as a dementia and delirium nurse practitioner. And this really helped me mold into my um, that unique role of a nurse practitioner in aged care, because I was able to bring all my experience and all the stories that um, I heard from my patients, my residents, and even my colleagues. The challenges that they have. So it helped me sort of um, have that specialty, and have different skill set in wherever I work in. So in aged care, or even in the acute setting.
Kira,
So
thank you.
yeah, just last one, Lynn. Just that I
Thank
just like
you.
wanna share a lesson
Yeah,
learning. So I would like to share some parting words for our current and future aged care workforce. As an industry, we need to start looking and planning for the future of our industry. And as a workforce, as a good portion of us will likely retire in the next 10 to 20 years, we need to nurture and support our culturally diverse workforce, supporting them to assimilate into our sector and celebrating their rich culture that they bring as well. On days that we feel undervalued and underappreciated, we need to remind ourselves that our work field is its own specialty, and it takes a special person to have compassion and a skill set to work in the aged care sector. We must also start moving out of our comfort zone and to be contented, not to be contented with the status quo. There are several opportunities and support available for us, but we have to make the conscious decision to grab them to help us reach our goals and further improve not only our career, but the entire system in aged care. Knowing about the challenges we continue to face in our industry, gone are the days that we seek someone to change things, but we have to decide to be the catalyst of change. That sort of concludes my presentation. Thank you again, Lynn and
thank you,
Vicky.
Kira. That's so inspirational and beautiful to see your pictures. I think there are lots of the chats there. That's a lovely journey. So, and beautiful words of wisdom. Thank you.